What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about this thing right here, the Instax Mini 41. And let me tell you, straight out the box, this thing is clean. It looks very modern, and it's got a real premium look that sets it aside from a lot of the other Instax camera models. You know, I've always really enjoyed or appreciated the idea behind like instant photography, and I always wanted to get myself one of these Instax cameras. Everything about it is so cool. You know, the nostalgia, the aesthetic, the feel of it all, the process, even looking back on the photos afterwards. It's such a dope thing when you have like a nice little like collection of like these little mini printouts that you can look back on later on, you know? But I've never actually owned one of them myself. I bought a few from my wife, actually. She's got like 3 different ones, but I never had one myself until now, that is. Like I said, my wife's had one for a long time. She actually currently has this here, which is the Instax Mini 7 Plus. This cute little knick-knack here. If you could even see that, it's a little bright, but yeah, this is the one that she has now. She had another one. I don't remember what it is, but it was another Instax camera. It looks similar to this, but it was blue, and I'm pretty sure it was a little bigger. And she's got a bunch of like little albums filled with small prints. You know, she's been doing it for years. And it's always been really cool. You know, I've always appreciated the photos that she's taken. And I've even asked her to let me use it for a photo here and there, but it's mostly just like family stuff, you know? I could never really take a camera like this very seriously. It doesn't lend itself to making me feel like a photographer. You know, it seems like a cool thing you bring to a party, you know, but not something that you throw in your camera bag when you're going out to be a photographer. You know what I'm saying? That being said, this one here, the Mini 41, this one looks legit. It feels different, like a real camera. I really like this black and gray color scheme with the subtle hits of orange on there. It has such a premium, dope vibe with these like knurled grip on the side here. It's such a cool, sleek little camera. And honestly, that's why I picked it up. I mean, let's be honest, look at these two. This is quite the difference if you really, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty wild. Now, design-wise, there's not a whole lot to it, but let's talk about it. I really like it. It's small, it's clean, it's slick. It's minimal, and it doesn't scream plastic toy like some of the older camera models. Like, this is legitimately the type of camera that I'll throw in my camera bag, and I don't have to worry about feeling goofy when I pull it out, you know? I actually had it in my camera bag a few days ago. I had a photo shoot on a field somewhere, and I took this with me in my camera bag, and I saw this cool little shed, and I thought to myself, you know what? I want to take a photo of that shed. And there it is, September 21st, 2025. And that's sick, you know? I was able to do that and not feel weird about it. Not that you should feel weird, but you know, it is what it is. I don't feel good necessarily walking around with this bubbly purple thing per se, you know? Not that there's anything wrong with that. If that's more your style, that's more your style. But I like slick, minimal kind of aesthetics with all of my gear, you know? That being said, it looks like Fujifilm is really leaning into the idea of not just making instant photography nostalgic, but also stylish. Now, from what I understand, underneath this, under the hood, if you will, it's essentially the exact same camera as the Mini 7 Plus. With one exception, the Mini 7 Plus actually has a few more settings, I suppose. It's a bit more functional, whereas the Mini 41 is fully automatic. You don't even have the option to necessarily shut off the flash, but you know, some might see that as a drawback, but truly I don't mind. You know, this one, it does have a few settings that you can adjust and change, but with the 41, I'm not preoccupied or concerned with fumbling around with subtle changes and, you know, exposure or white balance. I just kind of want to take a photo and enjoy the surprise of how it turns out. Maybe it's a good photo, maybe it's a bad photo, but ultimately it's just about that moment where you see it and you're like, ah, man, look at that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a silly kind of thing. It's about the vibe, you know? You're not out here looking for sharp, crisp, color accurate photos. You're looking for tangible moments in time. That's a bar. I should write that down. Tangible moments in time. Goodness gracious. Fujifilm. Hey, come on now. Now, speaking of which, the process is where the magic happens. You know, you pop open this back cover here, which I will not do right now because I do have some film in there. You turn this dial ever so slightly, boom, and you take a photo and you watch it kind of pop up here. You know what? I'm gonna take a photo just for the sake of this video. Check it out. Or should it be a selfie? I'm gonna do it selfie mode. Let's see. It turns out like you do have a dial here to close up. Oh, and if you notice the lens kind of zooms out just a little more. Ready? Boom. That's for the close-up feature, and it has what's called a parallax correction. So obviously, if you can see here, the eyepiece is offset from the actual lens, and there's no mirrors in there to connect the two. So when you're looking through there, you're not necessarily lining up the frame the way that it's gonna be taken, which at a distance doesn't make a huge difference, but when you're up close, that could kind of present an issue. But luckily, it's got this close-up feature here for parallax correction, as they call it, and a little selfie mirror on the lens so you can see yourself and frame the shot, kind of. So let's take a selfie. Boom. Just like that. I got myself a nice little print out there. By the time this video is done, this should be developed. As it stands right now, it's just kind of white. But it takes about 90 seconds to fully develop, so we'll give it a second. You see, but that's it right there. It's that blend of anticipation and nostalgia that you're after. What makes it so special is that moment of holding a physical photo as opposed to scrolling through your phone or looking through your cloud of, you know, thousands and thousands of photos. These are real moments, and it's just so cool. And it's kind of something that it's hard to even explain the feeling that you get from it until you're holding it in your hands and you're like, wow. And maybe not even that day, you know, but like in 6 months and 6 years, at some point down the line, you'll hold it in your hands and be like, man, look at that. Look at this terrible photo. You know, that's probably what you're gonna say. But again, it's not about the sharpness. You're not looking for color accuracy. You're not counting pixels. You're not looking to you know, it's not for studio photography and stuff like that. It's for moments. It's for snapshots. It's for cool physical memories that you know, there's just something special about it. And I don't know what it is exactly, but once you start shooting with one of these, then you really you get this feeling. It's just such a cool thing, you know? It's almost like it's the imperfections that make it so perfect, if that makes any sense. Now, the camera itself does also have some imperfections. It's not without its faults. For example, it does run on 2 AA batteries, which is kind of a bummer. This might be the only thing that I own, or that I use rather, that runs on AA batteries. I feel like we could have at least gotten a USB-C port. That being said, I am looking at the Instax, what is it? The Wide Evo, which is like a hybrid digital / instant camera. There's also the Evo Mini, which is another hybrid camera, and I'm pretty sure those are rechargeable, and those are super, super sick. I feel like it might take away from the feeling because you're no longer anticipating what it could be. You're checking first before you print out. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it is another cool option. But this one's way cheaper. This came in at about $100. So something to consider if you're just kind of curious about what instant photography could be like. But yeah, the battery thing is kind of a bummer. The flash thing, it's not the biggest issue for me, but I do wish I could have at least shut off the flash. I don't care much for necessarily having all the other options or settings rather, but I do wish I could have just turned off the flash. There has been a few instances where I just put a little piece of tape over there and just kind of see what I can do with it, but I tend to just kind of leave it uncovered at this point. It is what it is. And finally, while it does have a more premium look and feel, it still does kind of feel not super sturdy. Like if I drop this, I don't necessarily think I'd be super confident that I could keep on using it, but it's still fine. Again, it was $100, so I'm not mad at that at all. And it does feel pretty good. It's not completely, you know, it feels solid, just not super solid. So yeah, the Instax Mini 41. It didn't like reinvent instant photography, but it does kind of refine it in a manner of speaking. It's cool, it's simple, it's stylish, and it makes it easy to have fun with instant photography, which is exactly what I needed. You know, I didn't want to have a lot of fuss when it comes to taking a picture. And that's why I picked it up. But let me know what you guys think. Would you consider picking up one of these Instax Mini 41s, or do you like some of the older models like the Instax Mini 7 Plus? Or maybe one of those newer hybrid digital slash instant ones like the Evo or the Evo Wide. What do you guys think? Drop a comment down below. And don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, wait. Actually, look at that. Gotta love that. Now I just grab a Sharpie and label it, and I have yet another memory of making this video. And you guys are a part of that memory, which is pretty cool. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.